Hey, hey, hey. Don't you want to be special? Don't you want to be unique? Don't you want to hear a sound, a lovely noise, so special to you, so custom to you, that it makes you feel an even greater sense of euphoria whenever you drop a good item? Well, you've come to the right place, because in this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to create your own custom sound loop filter. But before I lose you, don't be startled by the link of the video. Don't click off. Don't leave. For God, please don't leave. Because it's really easy. And if you want to know how to do it right now, if you look down at the timestamps of the video and you head on over to the section of the video titled Step by Step, I will show you exactly how to do it in a timely manner. It's very simple. But wait, don't go there just yet. Don't. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. If that's all you care about, then that's fine. Go ahead. You're good. Before this video actually gets to that point, I wanted to just start off by talking about my own personal experience with custom sound loop filters and why I think creating your own can enhance your gameplay and make this game even more fun. You know, I've watched a lot of YouTube content around this game. I've watched a lot of streamers, and something that I've noticed is that they almost never use custom sound loop filters. So much so that I think a lot of players don't even really know it's an option. But in my opinion, it's like one of the most important things to me whenever I play this game, because custom sound loop filters are so cool. And it's because they're custom, it's because they're special to you. It's something that you create, it's something that you put together, you put a little bit of time and effort into it, and the sounds that you choose are sounds that matter to you. And the amazing thing about it is that they can be anything. If you like memes, they can be memes. If you like music, they can be certain sections of certain songs. If you like video games, like, you know, nostalgia games like N64 days or whatever, you know, there's a plethora of amazing sound effects to be used from that era of video games like Doom or like Bomberman or Zelda. I mean, it's endless. The possibilities are endless, and that's what I love so much about it. I've been doing it for a very long time. Ever since I found out that this was possible, I figured it out on my own. It was easy to figure out, but I've learned so much over time. I've learned so much about doing it that I would like to really put together a comprehensive guide talking about everything you need to know, not just how to do it, like the very specific few steps you have to go through on the Filter Blade website. I wanted to talk about like the philosophy behind it in terms of like picking out a good sound and like where to use certain sounds and how to change the sounds a little bit so that they fit a little bit better into the flow of gameplay, and like some things that I look out for like what to do, what not to do. So I'm really going to go into detail here. That's why the video is so long. It's because I care so much about this topic. This is something I do before every league start. I spend hours and hours. Like usually the league will actually kick off around like 4 p.m. or so for my time. USC usually starts around 4 p.m. So the time that I spend throughout the day before that is me just building a loop filter. So like in the morning I wake up and if I'm not at work or whatever, I will like just scour the internet for cool sounds. I will go through all these other video games I used to play. I'll go through and I'll find like some really cool sounds. I'll put it all together. And over time I've been building my loop filter, because you can use the same ones for past leagues obviously. So I've been like adding to it, removing some things. And right now, and the cool thing is that there is so many items in this game that you know, it's going to take you a lot if you really want to get everything down to a specific sound. That there's a lot of work to do, and that's cool. If you really do it, if you put the time in to actually replace every sound, it's going to be a way better experience. You're going to, and over time, you're going to be able to identify the sound and know exactly what drops just by the sound. Because if you play Path of Exile with the default loop filter, like there's only like 8 sounds or like 12 sounds, right? So it's like, oh, you hear a swing noise, you hear that classic Exalt swing. It could be anything. It could be an item that was for some reason added to that sound that's not actually a good item. I know we've all probably had that experience where we hear that noise and we think, oh my god, and then it's like a fucking unique contract or some bullshit, and you're just like, damn, what the fuck, I thought it was going to be something good. So that sucks, right? However, if you go through your loop filter, if you replace everything with a custom sound and you hear an epic sound that you put in there because it was supposed to be epic, then you know it's going to be epic whenever you hear it. That's what I love so much about it. Now, before we begin, I would like to address the fact that I have made a video about this topic in the past. It's a fine video, it works, it serves its purpose, but I think there were some things that I didn't talk about. There was some things I went into detail a little bit too much in that didn't really make much sense. And also the website itself has changed. Filterblade has gone through a lot of changes since then, actually. So it's actually way easier to do now. And I wanted to just really dive into it and talk more about it because I didn't talk enough, surprisingly, even though the video is quite long. So first things first, what do you need, right? Like what are the requirements? Well, there's only one requirement, and it is some kind of audio software where you can record something, right? The easiest answer to that is Audacity. Audacity is a free software. It's always been free, and it's been on the internet since as long as I can remember. So yeah, the requirements is just simply Audacity. Okay, so once you're here in Audacity, all you need to do is make sure you are configured in order to actually record sound. Up at the top here, I find the easiest way to do this is to make sure you're set to some kind of loopback. My setup is taking the loopback from my headset, which this basically is just the default audio playback for my PC. It's loopback from my headset. It's also very important to make sure you're recording in stereo, not mono, because mono will sound much worse, stereo will sound a lot better. Okay, so once you're ready, just start recording, and we're gonna find a video to take the sound from. I decided that this would be a good one. The click nice meme. So just start recording and then hit the play button. Nice. So that's it. That's all we need. You can see we have the audio here. So now you're going to want to select the audio, and at this point you can do whatever you want to it. There's a ton of effects to add if you want to mess with it. You can slow it down, pitch up, pitch down, whatever. But one thing that I usually do is I will actually amplify the sound, because I find that when you're playing the game, you want it to be a little bit louder than everything else going on in the background. So when you hit the amplify button, make sure you selected something, by the way. It'll give you a default value for amplification, which will hit the peak. So if you say okay, you'll notice that now it's at the peak. So any louder would technically be a distortion, and it's a bit louder now. Nice. But we notice that he clicks, and that's the loud part. But we're gonna want to also probably make this louder, and I'll do that a little bit later. But for right now, it's good enough, and you're going to want to select it again by just dragging the select tool and go to Export, File, Export, Selected Audio. If you do either of these other two options or any of the options, it's going to export the whole file. So even the things that you didn't select, you're going to usually want to do Export Selected Audio. Okay, so it's going to open up this Export Path Explorer, and for the first time, you're going to have to actually find the folder, which it should be located. So this is not going to be located in your traditional Steam apps directory. This is going to be located under your My Documents, My Games, and then Path of Exile. It is just the standard folder, and the files go directly into this Path of Exile folder. No other folders inside of here, just right inside of the whole folder for the game. You can see I have all my sounds here. And then you're going to want to give this a name. So let's name it Click Meme. It'll save it as a WAV file, which is normal. That's good. And then just hit OK, skip through that metadata stuff. So the next thing you're going to want to do is come over to filterblade.xyz. And I'm not really going to go into detail about how to do filters. Hopefully you understand how to use Filterblade in general. But basically make sure your filter is loaded. Mine's the current one I'm using is 319. And let's go ahead and add this to a unique item. So an easy way to get to the unique item is just to search unique in the search bar or on the right. This is a very useful tool. Tier 1, Tier 2, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna make this into the standard unique drop. So once you found the item that you're gonna want to customize, you're simply going to hit the sound button and make sure it's set to custom, and then just type in the exact file name. So clickmeme.wav, you need the actual whole name of the file. So once you've done that, you're good to go, and then you're gonna go to save and export, and save and sync. Make sure you're saving and syncing the correct filter, and it'll say down here that it's finished. It should arrive in the game instantly. Sometimes it says a little bit longer depending on the server. Okay, so once you're in game, go ahead and find the filter that you're updating and hit the update button, and you'll get a message that says filter loaded successfully. If you ever see a message that says like unsuccessful, whatever, it's possible that you messed up the file name. So check if you have the right file name. Now, the only thing left to do is to see if it worked.
Nice.
Perfect. So it works exactly how we expected. However, you might notice that it seems to be a little quiet, especially when he says the word nice. And that's because we amplified to the loudest peak, which was just the click. So if we go back into Audacity, I'm just going to give you an example of something you can do to every file. All you need to do at this point, now that we have the file linked on Filter Blade, let's say I want to make him saying nice a bit louder, right? All you got to do is go back into the file, amplify whatever you want, so that now this is going to be much louder.
Nice.
Okay, perfect. And then simply just select everything again, export it the same way you did before. So you're going to want to name it the exact same thing. And then simply overwrite the file. Now, since I have just overwritten the file, we don't actually have to even update the filter, because the filter is taking the file from our PC directly no matter what happens. If that file changes, the sound that's played will change. So now, as soon as I just did that, I come back into the game and I drop the item, it'll now be a little bit louder.
Nice.
You see? Perfect. Beautiful. Now that actually sounds like a good sound that is going to be easily recognizable while playing. Okay, so now let's get a little bit more in detail with the kind of things you could do with a sound filter. So I'm going to jump to Divine Orb. So in my typical standard currency tier, I have, of course, the tier that has the sound I made for the Divine Orb and other good things, right? So this is what a Divine Orb sounds like for me. Okay, so it's a pretty epic sound. It is an Echo Slam from Dota 2, combined with German 985 screaming, basically. So that's another fun thing. You know, in Audacity, you can easily just overlay sounds together and make a cool sound that's two different sounds combined, right? So that's a pretty standard POG sound. Well, what happens if I drop more than one Divine Orb, which is something that's happened to me several times this league, thanks to Arch Nemesis. So underneath the main currency tier, you have a small stacks and large stacks. The same thing exists amongst like supplies and other sorts of different things, but for currency you have small and large stacks. So the way this works is you simply just drag this to, so this determines it'll be a stack size of greater than or equal to 2. So what this means is now when I drop a stack of 2 Divine Orbs, it plays a very nice Kirk Franklin song, because, you know, dropping a Divine Orb's cool, but dropping more than one Divine Orb makes me want to rejoice. That's nice, right? However, if I drop a large stack of Divine Orbs, which is what I consider to be 4 or more, then I would then like to suddenly boogie down to some robot rock. That's just an idea of the kind of thing you can do when it comes to custom sounds, right? Because if you were playing on a standard default whatever, this would sound like a swing, and then like 2 would sound like a swing, and then you'd get it'd just be all sort of like would just kind of meld together, and it'd be boring, right? So you can even do stuff like, you know, have yourself a cool sound for your Chaos Orb. This is a sound that I hear a lot because a Chaos Orb drop is quite common, and that just lets me know, hey, I dropped some Chaos Orb, I might want to run around and pick it up. But then if I ever hear
cheeseburgers.
If I ever hear cheeseburgers, I know that there's probably a couple Chaos Orbs in a stack, and that's even better. Oh, but then if I hear German say something like hot dogs, and I know that, oh, I just dropped some Vol Orbs. That's pretty cool, right? But then if I hear the noise that German makes whenever he opens tape and screams because he doesn't like the noise of opening tape, and then I know I dropped a nice stack of, I think this is just like 6+. Yeah. I dropped 6+ Chaos Orbs. That's even better, right? Under like every sort of drop that you might make a custom sound, you can go one step further and make different sounds for different stacks. And I'll show you something even better, right? But what I decided to do was make a custom sound as well as a custom color on the loot filter itself. You can actually change the color of everything for the corresponding splinters and emblems, because I've been farming a ton of Legion, so I'll be seeing this a lot with my current strategy. So whenever I drop the low tier splinters, such as Eternal, Karui, and Vol, I'll hear something like this. and I'll see that it is a white or an orange, or I would have red. I don't have any splinters right now for the red one. Or I'll have a different sound for the better one, which is Templar. So that's a better sound, and it's green. And then the best splinter shows up as orange text under a white background, and that's Maraketh. And then we have some of the low tier emblems. Still a pretty cool sound though. And then we have the better emblems for a even more epic sound. And that's just like a kind of a fun thing you can do so you can easily identify the different types of drops you're getting. It just makes it a little bit more interesting, I think. So one last thing I wanted to talk about was whenever I'm like thinking about what sound I want to use for something, I usually like to pick a sound that is quick and to the point, something that will like instantly get my attention. Something that has like a punctual, fast noise at the very start of the sound. And also, I like to try to keep things within a theme. So for example, when it comes to divination cards, I have a sound for a good divination card, a sound for an even better divination card, and then I have a sound for an incredibly good divination card. I actually dropped this one earlier today, and I was very happy about it. So with this idea, if you play Dota 2, then I would highly suggest you go to the Dota 2 wiki, because there are so many sounds to use directly from the game. So what I ended up doing was I took a character from that game, Ancient Apparition, and I made one of his like quicker, like not very interesting sounds be for the good divination card. You know, very simple, to the point. And then I made one of his more epic noises be a really good divination card. And then for an incredibly good divination card, I made a very loud, very epic noise that comes right from Ancient Apparition as well. So yeah, that's just an idea. I like to keep it within a theme. That's just fun to do. And then for the oils, I have like my good oils. This one is not a theme, it's just funny. I like whenever I open an oil chest and I get like 3 good oils, and it all just kind of like happens in rapid succession. It's so funny. And then for the very good oils, I have, of course, you know, what else would you use other than... And then I love Vsauce. Michael from Vsauce is a great guy. So I wanted to pick him for a couple sounds, and I chose a fragment. So the map fragment, the shaper fragments aren't very good, but they're worth one of these.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
And then the elder fragments are a little bit better, so I decided to go for... You know, that's fun. And then we have maps. I took some RuneScape sounds, like I think this is like Ice Blitz or something. So that's a nice sound for that. And then an even better map is, I think, Ice Barrage. So that's fun. Now we have the essences, just to give you an idea. This is within a theme. So for any essences that are good, it's Joe Biden.
Hello.
You know, that's nice.
Hello.
It's really funny killing an essence monster and hearing that like 7 times, like slightly after each other. It's so great. And then of course, if you drop a good essence, like a deafening essence, you gotta have Joe Biden saying, "Bruh. Bruh." This is just the kind of idea, like, just to give you an example of something you can do, that just to have a little bit more fun with the game, you know? Put some funny sounds, put some epic sounds, and put it everywhere. Like, customize everything, and you'll enjoy the game so much more, I promise. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope this video is helpful. I hope you learned something. I hope you do this yourself. It's so much fun, and yeah, thanks for watching.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Michael. Michael. Michael.